Hey, boys and girls, it is March 26th, 2021 weather report, and hello. We have a thing to change. Yeah. Everybody else say hi. I'll shut up.
Hello.
Hi.
That was fucking impressive. You guys are really great at this.
Jesus Christ, Speed. Just talk what you want to talk about. Come on.
Okay, I'm being a dick today. Okay.
Yes, you are. Mr. Krabby. Fucking,
Yeah,
you know what? Your nickname is Mr. Krabs. There you go.
Okay, Mr. Krabs. Okay, I'm the Mr. Krabs today. Anyway, so Standing in Poop has a brand new book out. Earth-shattering book called Independent Origins Handbook. The Independent Origins Handbook's now available in black and white and full color. I don't know what the fuck. What the fuck does he do that for? Why? I don't get it. I ordered the black and white version because the full color there isn't that much color in it, for one thing. I mean, if I'm going to pay $10 more for full color, you better dazzle me. Anyway, this is the back cover of that book. Would anybody like to read the back cover of this book? Midnight? I'm just going to pick on you if you read it. But go ahead. Midnight, do you want to read it?
Are you sure that's the right book?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it on Amazon, and the Independent Origins, I think, is a refutation of common ancestry.
Okay, so what is this?
Well, you're the one who put it up there.
Well, Immutable sent it to me, and I'm not sure where he got it. Okay, are you looking at the actual book on Amazon? Yeah. Does he have a?
It basically shows the front page and the back page, and I clicked on the image for the back page,
and that's not it.
It's totally different.
Okay, so what the fuck is this?
I mean, I still want to read it.
Well, this has a barcode on it. Okay, which is why I thought it was a book.
I mean, it probably is a book, one for his new one, or
okay,
his other one.
Hold on a second. Let me get my phone and see what comes up. I don't know. But anyway, I thought it was, for one thing, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay, I went to school in 1956.
Yeah, which is why his fucking thing doesn't seem to make sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went to school in 1956, and in 1961, when I was in 5th grade, I got a biology textbook for 11th grade biology from the high school department, right? My teacher went over and fetched it for me. And I did not see, I mean, there was nothing in there about young earth creationism. There was nothing in there about religion or ID or any of that shit. And there was actually not a lot in there about evolution, to tell you the truth. But let's see if I can. Come on. Fucking.
That's definitely an SFT stamp. So it just must be one of his other books.
Yeah, but which one? Because I've never seen this bullshit. And for some reason, nothing comes up if you try to barcode it with your phone. I don't know why. I don't know. Not sure where that came from. But it's definitely an SFT book or something. Or an SFT bullshit. But anyway, what they're claiming here is just bizarre beyond fucking belief. You know, like young earth creation was the norm up until federal funding took over and replaced it with evolution theory in 1963. What does anybody know what he's talking about? Evolution quickly took hold as words in textbooks went from just a few thousand to over 33. What does that mean? the massive alteration in education ending up becoming a disaster. This book shows you exactly why and how. The public school system is owned and operated by the government. Yeah, it is broken down at the level of each of the states, meaning that each state's legislators are responsible for overseeing and ruling on decisions involving public schools in that state. Since schools are governed locally by school boards responsible for overseeing a specific school district, this book contains all the information you will ever need to know to bring to your local state's legislators to get young earth creationism back in the school. Motherfucker. We've all heard it before. Young earth creationism isn't science. Yes, you're right. It doesn't have a model. No, it has new model every week. It doesn't make predictions. They make predictions, but no one's tested them. It can't explain the diversity of the life we see. Well, yeah, it can, because you can make any shit up you want. All these outdated arguments are just that, outdated and not true. In fact, young earth creationism does all of that, and this is one of the many reasons why kids should not be deprived of the topic.
Jesus fucking Christ. Look. Okay, here's the thing. Younger creationism at most should be taught in philosophy is to be like, well, this theory exists, but this philosophy exists, but it should just be treated as as philosophy rather than actual science. You know what I mean? From a historical context, younger people should learn younger creationism.
You think?
I mean, whether we like it or not, there's always going to be creationists out there, right?
Okay, I found the book. It's called Curriculum in Crisis, Taking Back the Classroom by Team Standing for Truth. So it includes Raw Matt and others of that ilk. So, yeah, it's not a new one, I don't think.
I mean, that's cheap, and even I wouldn't buy that.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Well, actually, it said December 29th, 2020. So it's Curriculum in Crisis. You can get it for $2.99 on Kindle. There's an orange one and a black one, I guess.
Orange one and a black one?
An orange version.
Why does he do that? That's so waste of paper. Forget it.
Okay, just bought it.
What speed? We need to talk about your problem. Andrew's not the only one who needs a sponsor.
It's only $3.
So what? It's still
Only
wasting money.
I mean, I bought, movies on, for more than that.
But movies were actually worth it. Like
that book. I just bought that book, Creationism USA. That Dr. Rudolph guy wrote the review to, because I figure if these folks are going to try to talk history, you need to find a real history of education kind of guy to look at.
Yeah.
And I wonder if James Downard has any information already collected.
I wonder where Leo's been. Oh, he just bought it.
Teaching young earth creationism in school, or teaching the controversy or whatever. I mean, we could teach what other political controversies have we had in the last 5 years that we should also teach in school? The Anon movement. I won't say the word.
You just did, kind of.
I said Anon. Okay, there's that movement. We could teach that. We could teach the Hollywood, basically sex scandal crisis. We could teach. I mean, why would young earth creationism? How many people are there? Well, I don't know how many of them there are.
Well, obviously, you wouldn't teach, you wouldn't teach those to kids, which is this is where he's going, but right. You know what I mean. But if you want to go up, we can read this beautiful literistic masterpiece.
So if they cannot agree on the basics of natural selection, Yeah, this probably deserves its own. I'm not. I don't know why he didn't make a big thing of publishing this book. Because it just ended up on
No,
my radar today.
well, no, it's published. That's why it's on Amazon. Otherwise, it wouldn't be published.
No, he didn't make a big deal out of it like he does normally for his
Oh,
book.
you mean okay, yeah. You mean published like yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Did you see that little snippet as you went by? It said, "By the way, atheists remain the most disliked and distrusted religion." Blah blah blah.
What the
But
fuck does that have to do with
I
anything?
know there's nothing to do with that, but maybe you're saying, well, since atheists came up with evolution, then everybody hates them, but everybody loves us. So why not teach the stuff we like?
Wasn't Darwin was a Christian, wasn't he?
He was for quite a while. I think towards the end of his life, because of the tragedies having to do with the loss of his daughter and such,
Well,
he
wait,
later lost his faith.
hold
I don't
on.
know if that happened or not. I read a little. There's a little controversy there.
Well, yeah, because if I remember, there was a controversy, where his Darwin died. He was, he recanted, evolution is not true, but apparently his daughter was there and he didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was some bullshit over that. Atheists cannot even run for any public office, right, in the United States because people are idiots in the United States. It's pretty obvious that we have more stupid people in this country than any other country in the world.
That's by design.
If we're talking about legislation and state constitutions, a lot of them still do say that atheists can't run, but there was a court decision that overturned all that. So even though they may remain in the body of the Constitution of that state, atheists can run. Any law that keeps them from doing that is going to lose when Freedom from Religion Foundation catches wind of it. But it's hard for an atheist anymore to still get elected, although there are a few atheist congressmen.
Yeah. Oh, this one really gets me riled. This whole thing with teaching children, this bullshit, really gets me wild.
I mean, I'm with you there. Yeah, it's just. Well, go ahead, play the video or whatever the hell you're doing.
Okay, so Topdawg, you went on Crazy's channel last night.
Yep.
And we're gonna have to do an intervention on you too, apparently. But
no, Topdawg is fine.
Okay, so do you have the part that where you do? Okay, you go ahead. Tell us what you want to tell us about this, and then I got a few parts that I want to look at.
Well, I was challenging anybody, but Praise is the one that did it, of course. Watched videos that I have did my about page, and it was for anybody to start, whoever started first, but he started it, or I forced it, kind of a little bit. Let's just watch the video. I can't think properly right now.
Okay.
What challenge is Topdawg talking about?
In fact, we're going to go through one of his videos right now for his challenge, the first one at least.
You gotta watch his videos to get $100.
And comment, yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
I know it's for $100. What's up? What's up, TS Topdawg?
What's up?
Title doesn't look like it's a challenge. It looks like it's just explaining the difference between fact, theory, hypothesis, and law.
Jump right in.
The challenge is you guys watch it. Yeah, they can't.
And then comment.
The challenge is to watch any kind of science stuff. It's hard for any of those people, it seems like, to even take a second on anything real. So that's why the challenge.
Jungle Jargon needs another doobie before he can watch a video.
Yeah.
Watch it. We have to watch it. The idea is for us to learn something.
I guess he just wants your feedback, right? Is that what you're talking about? You just want people's feedback on it? Okay.
So, should I watch the part where or skip through the part where the video actually? Okay, here it is, where they start talking again.
But what is truth? Are there different levels of truth? Are some truths truthier than others? I
Ooh,
don't
good
know,
question.
but I do know this. Science is the absolute best tool we have for understanding how the
So my perspective is it's either untrue or true. I don't think there is shades of truth because that undermines the very meaning of truth.
Well,
I would just say
it's
that
ironic-
evolution is a theory, but it's not fact.
It's funny because the Bible is all about truth. That's what it's all about. In case nobody
You didn't
noticed.
You didn't notice that he wasn't saying.
Oh,
he wasn't saying those things where what he was talking. I mean, he was just giving like idea of what people talk about.
Well, it sounded like he was going to go through correcting
go
the
back.
misconception that because evolution is just a theory that invalidates it, when in fact a theory,
Well-
is often substantiated and is usually pretty trustworthy, like the theory of gravity. It's just
Well, he was
evolution.
saying that science is the best method for knowing truth, and I would say the Bible is the best teaching.
He didn't say that. He
go
cut him
back
off before he
5
finished the sentence, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
what
he
he's
did.
about to
That's what
say
he said.
is,
He said this. He said science is the best method for knowing truth.
no, it's the
No,
best method for knowing how our
That's what he
universe
just
works.
said.
That's not what he said. Play it back,
That's what he
Grace.
just said. He
All
just
right,
said
hold
that.
don't always fit nice and neatly in our brains. But
Don't.
what is truth? Are there different levels of truth? Are some truths truthier than others? I don't know, but I do know this. Science is the absolute best tool we have for understanding how the universe works. And
He
So
didn't
I
say
don't,
truth.
yeah, how
No,
it
same
works.
difference. Same thing. Come on.
Not the
Well,
Well,
same.
he may be trying to trick you, but that's not what he
How
said.
the universe works.
Oh yeah, the Argotha thinks that he's trying to trick us or trick them. That's another problem. They have
Right.
like this mindset where they think that people that actually have already done and confirmed it through multiple hypotheses and stuff that have passed. They think they're trying to trick us or something.
Yeah. So it's like he doesn't want to talk about truth. He wants to talk about understanding how the universe works. And they don't.
And
They have a problem with that.
they think the Bible is true already for some reason.
Mega true.
So
Mega
yeah.
true.
So then that's so they don't care about reality. They just care about their book.
Yep.
So, what more do we need to see? They talk for a while there about stuff back and forth.
What bookmark are you at? You're at 137. I started at 217. But go ahead.
They don't go on.
Yeah,
for a
okay,
while.
There's a bunch of stuff about facts and versus theory, and then Danny comes in and he says,
All right, let's
facts
get past-
have- Go ahead.
Oops, sorry, I forgot to
Oh.
mute it.
I know there was a part where Danny came in and he said that facts have nothing to do with philosophy of science or something, which was
Oh yeah,
interesting.
empirical things or stuff that we can actually test and stuff. Doesn't seem like he understands. He wants his philosophy to be the truth or something. Okay. If what this is.
just observations about the world around us. And we observe things every day, like that it's
How do they know it's a fact, though? Like so, a while ago, they thought that the universe was a fact that they saw that it was. And was it the?
He's explaining what their definition of a fact is, and it's
He's
going to be
trying
something like
to explain truth.
Centric or whatever.
He's trying to explain
Geocentric.
truth. You can't expect him to be perfect on everything.
Yeah.
what he's
light
about to.
outside. I look out the
All right, here we go.
window, and we often develop explanations for those observations, like, okay, the sun is probably up. Congrats, we just developed a hypothesis. But a hypothesis isn't something you prove; it's something you test. So let's walk outside. It's bright. The sun is up. Hypothesis confirmed. Way to go! We did a science.
Yay!
We often
But that's just like, well, it depends on what level. Well, what's the ontology of the sun being up, though? Like, see, this is where it becomes.
What? He's just giving a low-level explanation to people.
I
that
know,
don't-
but I'm saying if atheists are going to use this to push their narrative, I'm saying what's the ontology of the sun being up then? That's all.
Okay,
come up
moving
with
on.
multiple hypotheses to explain an observation. We just possible explaining story.
Tab.
No, they just because they brought a
You're reading
joke
it
in. They Jungle Garden got a little triggered. Okay.
Hypotheses
Yeah.
gotten the old scientific check mark. We can pile these all up and turn them into something greater, a theory. A theory is the way we know something works, based on the evidence we've collected and all the hypotheses that we've successfully put to the test. The best thing about a theory is that we can use it to make predictions, and not just about the way things are, but how they will be. You may have heard someone say something like, fear, taking facts. That's what this whole science thing is about. Being a theory isn't a bad thing. It means that idea got the gold star, the blue ribbon, a big shiny trophy that says, countless experiments have shown that I'm sufficient to explain all the observations that I encompass. Now, to see if you got this down, let's look at some examples. Fact, people get sick. I think we can all accept that. Hypothesis, people get sick because something gets in their body and starts doing bad things. Test each hypothesis, throw out the bad ones, and we're left with a framework that lets us understand why we get sick and make predictions. The germ theory of disease. Okay, let's try another. Evolution is a fact. We know that it happens.
Oh my gosh, see how they smuggled that in there? That's a joke, man.
Smuggled that in there.
Yeah, I paused the video.
Okay, evolution is a theory. So how is he making the case that it's a fact?
Because we can observe it.
Okay. Okay, but I thought
In a
theories.
sentence.
Okay. I thought theories were bundles of observations. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what he says.
Because it says that he's testing. Let's give him a chance. He may correct this. If he sticks with it being fact,
he's not going to correct it. He's not going to correct it. He thinks it's a fact.
We'll see.
Evolution is the opposite of science because you have to extrapolate things in the past and you have to
No
insinuate.
part of it. No part of it is
Nothing.
factual.
Exactly. None of it's in real time scientific research, like or
Observable.
yeah,
Observable. Nothing is observed.
Right.
Crazy's really showing his
But
ignorance
how
here.
does it happen?
Well, the interesting thing is that Argatha is the brightest bulb on that tree, and he's only got a 60-watt bulb. So it's interesting. But Argatha frequently pushes back on those guys because he sees things that they don't see. So, maybe he's got an 80 or 90-watt bulb. I don't know. But I watched his bulb. I watched his bulb fail to illuminate a couple times.
Hey, did you see Orge's note in the side chat?
If you guys want to, I had an interesting interaction in my bio. Oh, yes, Orge. But anyway, okay.
Throw him a link.
I'll throw a link out into chat, which is something CRISPR tells me never to do. Never do that, boys and girls. Never put your link in chat.
Evolution by natural selection.
Whoops.
Go ahead.
Hit the wrong button. I forgot that's the video. Okay.
Is a theory. We've come up with thousands
Theory, my arse, man. He just smuggled that in there.
and thousands of hypotheses about it, tested
Isn't
them,
that
thrown out the bad
scientific?
ones, and we developed a pretty darn good framework.
That's a post hoc. That's just all post hoc. Well, we see a bone, therefore evolution. That's not good enough for me. I'm sorry.
It might be a theory, but it's not. It's not a. I mean, it might be somebody's theory, but it's not observed.
Yeah, it's speculation from the past. That's all. That's all it is.
You forgot
Still
what the other
strong
thing that he
as that,
said. All the hypotheses and stuff that have passed.
Can I?
What? So
No.
what do you say? Okay, give me some.
Wait,
Can
wait,
we
wait.
rewind this? Hold on.
Make the theory.
No. Hold on. Do you think that evolution is a fact? By the definition that he gave at the beginning. By the definition that he gave at the beginning of the video.
Observed. Is it observed?
Yes.
Observed as in, can you see every baby?
Can you see evolution happening?
Oh, right. I see.
It's a
Yeah.
process.
I sometimes forget that they conflate any kind of change over time to frogs to people.
You forget that bacteria and other animals have a faster rate than bigger animals.
Right, and you
Sometimes
do realize that
sometimes-
somebody has been testing E. coli for like the last 50 years,
Sometimes
and they have a
I
generation time of like 20 minutes, and he's
I
gone
think
through
you
several
guys-
100,000 generations of this stuff, and they haven't changed.
Sometimes I think you guys are
So,
confusing
we have
change
changed
in
it,
what's
then.
already there with writing instruction that's not there. So it doesn't explain how the information got there. It's only observing a change in the information that's already there. It's not
Yeah,
showing how the
course.
What
information
the fuck
got
are
there.
you
The
talking
theory of
about?
evolution
that's-
has to explain how the
Stop.
Well,
Okay,
he's just doing origins or bust right there. That's
That's new information. If information changes, it is definitely new information. I mean, what the fuck? It changed the information that's already there. That's their idea about information. Oh my god.
Okay, Topdawg, I have a quick question. Why would you even waste your time with this going on and challenging them to watch a video? if the challenge was just them to watch a video, okay, they watched the video, but they didn't really learn anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're wasting your money.
It seems like they haven't heard any of this before. A lot. I mean, to understand what the difference between fact, theory, hypothesis, and law.
I mean,
Yeah,
they probably
they
have.
don't.
They just choose not to listen to it. Like, you know what I mean? They, there's, your filters are like theory. You know what I mean? Theory, fact. Like, they don't want to learn. So, I mean, if you
Yeah,
want to waste your money, that's your money.
So, ready to play the video more?
Yeah.
Information got there.
And that's how we got so many varieties, because the past organism has
Hey, Tom.
changed.
Shattuck, have you watched James Tour's recent series on abiogenesis?
Oh yeah, Argatha gave me a challenge to watch all that. Skip through it. Oh, they lost the video for a second. Okay, back to the video.
Now, which is completely ridiculous. It's the opposite of what he just said, but we'll keep it going though.
For predicting how living things change over time. So yeah, it's a theory. Stop saying it like a bad thing. Calling it a theory means it's passed the toughest tests that we can throw at it.
BS! That is complete BS. What about the Cambrian explosion?
First off, nobody questions
the
natural
toughest things
selection.
you can throw at.
This is a straw man. This is a straw man. Nobody questions natural
The toughest
selection.
things you can throw at it. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That is
Hold on here.
horse manure. I'm sorry.
What are they pushing back on? What did he say that they're disagreeing with?
Thoroughly
That
tested.
evolutionary theory is a theory.
He said bull crap or whatever he said. He said, what about the Cambrian explosion? Because you know how.
Yeah, but why did he bring that up?
Everything,
Because the guy in the video said that we've observed most of the aspects of evolutionary theory,
Okay.
and that's why it's a theory.
And he said, what about the Cambrian explosion?
Yeah, Praise did.
Because we haven't observed that.
I guess.
Okay.
Well, he's saying we can't explain it. The only way to explain it, I mean, that's the implication because of what we've heard before, that the Cambrian explosion just happened way too fast, so it had to be divine intervention.
Yeah. Okay. I get his point. Yeah, I get his point, and it's pretty uninformed. But okay. So hang on a second. Orge, you had an experience in class. Are you limited in time, or can you?
Somewhat. I probably got maybe an hour. So if you guys, I don't know what your timing is. You can finish this if you want. It's up to you.
Okay. Yes. Let's go ahead with this then.
Okay.
You guys, that's it has not passed any test at all.
Are you studying
Not even
from
the first step.
creationists that talk about evolution, or the actual people that are in that field?
No, I've actually listened to
Not
several
even the first
evos on
step.
this.
I watched a debate with James
It hasn't
Tour
passed the
and
first
an
step.
actual abiogenesis researcher. And he accused the abiogenesis researcher of being dishonest. And basically, the guy he thought that there was no problem with switching over to the possibility of, he starts looking at possibility of silicone-based life being brought to existence by some sort of abiogenical process instead of the stuff that we know, because it's too hard.
You know that abiogenesis is different than evolution.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
I just tried to explain to you that evolution is the same thing as abiogenesis when it comes to the information.
No, it's not.
You can't get information that's not there. You have to
Let me ask
abiogenesis
you-
into existence.
Blah blah blah.
Let me ask you, Shattuck, if I were to tell you that UFOs are alien spacecraft that fly around and kidnap people, and then you were to say, I have proof, 100% proof that aliens don't exist, would that undermine my concept of UFOs?
It's nonsense, though, to say that.
What is nonsense?
To say that something doesn't exist, or have any proof of something not existing, really, other than we know the story started or
Do
something.
you know what an analogy is?
Yeah.
Do you know what a hypothetical is?
Yeah, I'm just
Do
saying.
you realize that I just used both of those concepts to try to explain something to you?
Isn't it also a fallacy?
What is a fallacy?
That analogy?
Analogies are not necessarily fallacies, no.
Because you can't. I mean,
They can be.
You can't disprove anything 100%. Though.
I can disprove that A does not equal B if I can prove that A equals 1 and B does not equal 1.
I guess mathematics It's the way
Yep.
to do it, I guess. Only in its mathematics itself, but
But
it works.
logic
I
is the same thing as math. Logic is the same thing as math.
If I were
No,
if
it's
I were to
not.
tell you that the smallest known protein is the chance of getting that protein, the smallest one, is greater than, or is 1 divided by a number greater than the number of atoms in the universe.
Okay.
By
Hang on a second. I think this I think this is going to take longer than we got, to go through
Yeah.
this, because I've got some
I-
bookmarks. Maybe we should do something. What is it? Is it Friday? We're supposed to do a paper trails tonight, but maybe we should spend a little more time on this video, like tomorrow, because I found a bunch of stuff, and then Danny had a bunch of stuff about facts, and I think Danny said that facts have nothing to do with the philosophy of science, which I thought was kind of an interesting opinion. But there's a lot more. And you go for what, 2 hours here? No, you're on this stream for like 5 hours, right?
Anytime after an hour and a half. I was during
Okay.
the whole time. Except they kicked me off for a second there, or a few minutes, or an hour.
And we're supposed to end at 5 minutes to 3 today because Danny on Phil Talk has a interview that he's doing with somebody, and we have to. I would like to watch that. I think everybody would like to watch that. Where is that interview? Dr. Timothy Schroeder. Let me put the link in chat here. Anyway, so we definitely want to watch that. I just don't think we have time to do this justice because because the neat thing about what happened with you on there, and this is one of the reasons why I do appreciate when you guys take one for the team by going on these streams, is that you have illuminated, or they have illuminated in their speaking, every misunderstanding they have about the theory of evolution. And then Danny chimes in a little later with his complaint about fitness. And I think Danny also has to come here and answer for that. And I would like if we, maybe we should schedule this for tomorrow early. Is it possible to do something early tomorrow? Like 11,
as long as I know.
11 a.m. CST. Are you working tomorrow?
No, I'm on vacation.
Good. Let's spend a little time, gather some bookmarks, gather some comments, and we will do a whole show on just this piece. And I am going to try to get a transcript in the meantime of part of this, okay? So sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Given our limited time today, we got, what do we got? 20 minutes. Orge.
Also, I did want to say really quickly at 4:00 p.m. CST on Armin Ross' channel, he will be speaking with Sean Carroll, the theoretical physicist.
Cool.
I believe we're going to be talking about the beginning of the universe and atheism and naturalism, things of that sake.
Looks like Sean Carroll's making the rounds because Peter in side chat says he has a show.
Well, yeah, he's producing for Armin Ross. Peter produces for Armin Ross. That's
gotcha. Okay, I see the connection.
Okay, Peter. We'll see you tomorrow. But okay. So Orge.
But really quickly, because I just saw Lana through this. What is the smallest protein? The thing you have to remember about what Argatha said is the smallest known
15 amino acids.
He said the smallest known protein. How do we know that there aren't proteins that are smaller?
15 amino acids, Lena. Has a function. It has an effect on lipid membranes. And there's another one, 17 amino acids. I forget which one it is, but we could look it up. But anyway, there are smaller ones. And there are smaller ones that we don't know about because they're not exactly on our radar, and they should be.
There's also one of the big ones. I forget. Titin. It's in like 20,000 amino acids.
30,000, I think, or something like that. But it's
it's very big.
But it's got a lot of repeats in it. So I mean, it's like a duplicated protein.
Nice design, eh?
Anyway, yeah. It's a big mother. Anyway, now can we get to Orge?
No. Kidding. Go ahead.
So, wanted to run this by the brain trust here. I had an interesting interaction with some students in my biology class. We're covering genetics right now. I'm gonna try to skimp on details, obviously, because you can't say those things, and also I don't think I want this if the students find this stream to know who I am. But we were talking genetics, and we started talking about the uses of genetics, possible future uses of genetics. And sadly, the conversation was highly derailed by a few students from, I'm going to assume, highly conservative households. Ooh. Who started, I guess you could, I'm going to say yelling, but that's not the right word. Yelling and being very boisterous that you shouldn't mess with genetics because God made them the way they are. And it was that's kind of something that happens, right? If you're going to talk touchy subject like genetics, you're going to run into these scenarios. And I wasn't upset they had those opinions, but I think it was upsetting as a teacher that the entire class sort of got derailed by a few people that weren't willing to have a conversation,
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
This is happening more and more in college classes, and they're being empowered to speak up, basically. And yeah.
Well, it's not that it's not the speaking up that's the issue. It's the lack of conversation.
Yep.
These students who are too young to be definitive on these things, and it kind of sounds like the parents talking through them. These students aren't willing to discuss their beliefs.
You mean like people saying, I didn't come from no stinking monkey, or what kind of people are they saying?
Yeah, phrases like that. And, genetics is a very controversial topic. It's fine to have differing opinions. If you don't think, if you personally don't see yourself using genetics maybe to understand more about who you are or maybe your future children, that's fine. But again, it's hard to do this without details. But yeah, essentially the students were kind of being very yelling almost about God. I heard God probably more in that hour class I did than you do at most churches.
But what gets me, it definitely is disconcerting. But but what gets me is that people like that say, you shouldn't change. You shouldn't change what God created or something like that. Well, okay, so you're fine with the, so you're fine with with people being born with mutations that, one may leave them in in unbearable agony for 5 years when we have the technology, we're starting to, to treat them so they can live a full life. But no. God intended that child to suffer for 5 years.
God intended cancer. Yep.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, those right there, that's the conversation I was trying to have with the students. That's your belief. Cool. Have your belief. At least let's talk about it, But it sort of got, the backlash I got from trying to have that conversation was more so I'm wrong because I disagreed with you. And then they started I'm not surprised if admin's going to get an email talking about how I'm indoctrinating the kids,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I hope to go to a conservative channel at some point tonight or tomorrow and have this conversation again to see, I don't know if there's something I'm supposed to do about it. Technically there's probably a teacher rule to divert or some big, long, stupid phrase, but it sucks,
Yeah.
Well, so quick question. What did you say when this was brought up? Is there anything that you said specifically?
So it was more the topic that brought this up than a specific sentence, but my role in the conversation was to devil's advocate anything anyone said, to promote the students to have a conversation with themselves, right?
Yeah.
I don't want a big pat yourselves on the back for the entire class. So I'd bring up, for example, if you had the ability to prevent the child from having underdeveloped heart, would you do that? And I presented this sort of as a obvious yes. And instead I got, God wants it that way. And then when I said, well, how could you, I asked for, are you sure? Because I could see that being a beneficial thing. God wants it that way. Yell, yell, yell.
But wait, hold on. I really, this is fucked up to wish on people, but I wonder if they would have if they would have the same mentality if they were the ones who had who had a mutation. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are you to say to say that God wants it that way?
Yeah.
Like, just this. I know this topic is controversial, but it pisses me off every time every time it comes across, right? Because there's a lot of people who just don't really understand genetics. And let's be honest here, eugenics did not help matters. It made things worse.
Yeah, that was a big issue.
And did you have any Muslim students that could have basically?
No, it was a lot.
I live in a very white part of the world. I don't think I have any Muslim students,
it's too bad because it would be interesting to see how they were received.
Yeah. Oh, well, again, that's part of the thing is what, I have unlimited reach as an instructor, but it's just so frustrating that, again, if I provided more details, this would be a more interesting conversation, but I can't, right?
Yeah.
I gotta speak in very broad terms here. But yeah, it's just I almost feel stupid for not expecting it to go that way. If that makes sense.
What did you say? I missed that. I'm sorry.
I said I almost feel stupid for not expecting the conversation to go down the shitter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And the last chapter we cover this in the semester is evolution.
Yeah. Oh my, that's going to be a fun one for you.
If I can't get through genetics without having, essentially, I'm surprised they didn't pull out little mini Bibles and start throwing them at me, telling me to repent.
Yeah. Yep. Going to be fun. God, the schools must have guidelines on how to navigate this stuff, right? I mean,
Not really. There's like state guidelines, but the guidelines are all basically revolving around trying to get the kids involved. And then when you try to get the kids involved, this happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if can't you kick them out of the classroom if they're being disruptive?
Oh, that would be a real problem.
Well, no, I know, but
that's exactly the problem. That feeds their ego. It gives them what they want, which is the center of
feel persecuted.
Yeah, exactly. And then they can go. I mean,
but at the same, I understand that, but at the same time, they're robbing other students of fucking learning. You know what I mean? So so something has to give.
Yeah,
right?
It sucks. It sucks being a teacher, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It's not that they shouldn't be removed from the class. It's that when you do that, all they're going to do is throw their persecution complex around, and that's just going to be bad optics for the school.
No, I know, Leo, but something's got to give, right? Like you could just leave them there and have them say whatever, but that hurts the other students. The other students are not learning anything. I mean, granted, students nowadays. Go ahead.
Brainbug's comment is exactly right. If you go that direction and fall into it, then you're also not helping the education. I think personally, even having the conversation, giving the students that memory is probably going to be beneficial. At least you've had a conversation with opposing ideals where people kept their calm.
Wait, whatever with Telltale, I only know nothing about that. He mentioned that, not to derail the conversation too much. I just don't know what happened with Telltale.
It's the same topic, basically.
Yeah, his daughter recorded the teacher going on a rant about the Bible and God and what
premarital sex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
what? Holy shit! What?
Yeah.
There was
somebody's echoing.
There was another case, and I think it was kind of famous or something. It was on the news about some woman who was persecuted because she kept getting up in class and bitching about abortion or something. And then they called her into, where the hell did I hear this? They called her into for a meeting, and they recorded the meeting, and she was claiming discrimination. And it was just a big shitstorm. So, I mean, it's just a difficult thing to navigate because you can get charged with discriminating against them as easily as we can make charges against them for, propagandizing and disrupting the class.
Yeah,
but if they're disruptive, it's really hard to prove that case when religion is involved because you got a sticky wicket. Right?
Yeah, but that just emboldens. Like, I don't know, man. It's just just seems like that emboldens them to take, to be more and more disruptive in the class. Like, yeah, I get it feeds their persecution complex, but I don't know.
I think what they should be done, what you should do is invite them to, stay after school and create their own little committee and argue it out there, and I don't know.
Well, that stuff does happen, but then that's pushing, that's shoving the burden to someone else,
Basically,
and then you're not having a constructive conversation on the subject. You're putting the yelling people in a room to yell.
Yeah, but for a teacher, I think that would be a really smart thing to do and push the burden to somebody else, right?
Well, in a joking way, sure, but if you're trying to be a good educator,
right?
No.
Yeah, but how does God fit into education? Into biology at all?
Doesn't.
Well, that's exactly the problem, right? And that's why why this is on my mind, or why I want to talk to you guys and maybe talk to Praise or Standing and get their opinion.
They would be for it, by the way.
It's not that God didn't fit into the conversation; it's that the conversation was stopped by yelling God. Because you can have your opinion that you shouldn't do genetic engineering or something like that because you don't want to tinker with God's handiwork. Sure, that's an opinion, but at least we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they were just being very, what's the term I'm looking for? Maybe perhaps standoffish with their position rather than trying to engage in a discussion about what they believe. And it just kind of ruined the discussion.
Yeah, it really felt like they were on soapboxes.
Mm-hmm.
And the few students that did want to have a conversation, like it was cool. It would be cool if it wasn't sad that like the classroom all started gravitating towards their view over the course of the hour simply because they kept yelling it.
Yeah,
and the kids didn't want to feel out of the circle. So,
that is disturbing as fuck. I'll be honest.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I did my best to try to do my side, but I can't raise my voice. I can't really show an opinion because then I'm indoctrinating.
Yeah. I don't know. It's too bad that there isn't a class that teaches them how to think and maybe explains that, okay, once you bring a god or magic, basically you're bringing magic into the picture. As soon as you allow for magic, then you allow for any of an infinite number of different kinds of magic. And magic can explain anything. I mean, if I find a weed growing in my garden, and if I basically defer to magic, I can say that magic did that weed, right? Why not? How are you going to prove me wrong?
So, quick question, Speed. Am I getting any of this magic weed you've got?
I got did I just say magical weed? Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
but yeah, it's on my mind, and obviously wasn't looking for a solution or anything, but it's just an interesting topic, I think, to it's what's going on in the school down the road from you right now,
yeah,
especially with the heightened political atmosphere we have,
This is a totally off in another direction, but in 1940, the state of Minnesota provided a bunch of money to get children to go around in the roadsides in southern Minnesota and plant marijuana because they needed hemp.
Marijuana or plant hemp?
hemp, marijuana. It was marijuana. Okay.
Wait, no, hold on. Because
No, it was no. Just stop,
it's
Leo.
not
Let me tell my
marijuana.
story,
It's
Leo.
not
It's
marijuana. It
marijuana.
doesn't grow
It
the
was
flower.
marijuana.
I'm
That was
assuming
the
you're thinking of hemp.
no. That was the plant. That's where you get hemp from marijuana. I'm sorry. It was marijuana.
No. That's not.
Okay, Leo.
Anyway, continue your story.
Stop.
Continue. I mean, you're wrong, but continue your story.
Okay, so they planted marijuana in basically all the woodsides, all the ditches in southern Minnesota. This was in 1940. In 1990, they spent money to get school children to go around and pull up what we called ditchweed, which you could actually pick and boil into ash balls. Basically, there's tons of it growing in southern Minnesota. So anyway, they paid children to plant it, and then 40 years later, they paid children to pull it back up again. And it was the same exact thing. And Leo, it was the marijuana plant. It wasn't a very great, it wasn't a high resin type species. We called it ditchweed. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But you could get high on it. You could get high on it. So
if you smoke enough of it, yeah, but you're going to get a headache before you get anything.
Yeah, well, it depends on it depends on which county it was growing in, actually. Anyway, but I mean,
soil and stuff like that can affect it. Yeah,
that's such irony, that the kids plant this, kids pull this up. 40 years later, pretty interesting. Anyway,
surprised it 40 years. Jeez,
it took them 40 years to. People were going down south from northern Minnesota and loading up their trunk with weed and coming back and selling it. This is back in the 70s.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. Anyway, cannabis. The fiber is hemp, and the flowers are marijuana. Yes, the plant is cannabis, and it was the shit that you grow. It just wasn't, a polyploid strain or anything like that. But okay, so I don't know. That is a really sticky problem, Jorge.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the best you could do is kind of command the conversation, and maybe. It would be great if you had a pagan in the class that piped up, or maybe a Harry Potter believer, because they would have an equal argument, that it could have been nature magic, crystals.
Hey, Jorge, have you already said that this is a public school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and again, not to overrun the conversation, but on one hand, command the conversation makes sense. Other hand, my point was to not command the conversation.
Yeah.
My point was to corral the conversation so that the students could have it.
Well, if I had been you, what I would have done is I would have been very quiet while I updated my resume.
Oh, believe me, I got a very impressive looking resume.
I don't know, because it's a very sticky position. Powder keg. How many of these creationists are out there? These anti-evolutionists. How many in the United States? What percentage? I mean,
70 million. I don't know. I'm just a number out of my ass.
Well, evangelical Christian isn't that the biggest sect of religion?
30 million, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and they all have kids, and again, a lot of them are bolstered in their beliefs because of all the political climate.
Yeah, and the preachers are starting to talk about it in church too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So they more empower them, and they believe they're on a mission from God to convert to all the unbelievers in class.
They're the Blues Brothers.
Yep, mission from God. Exactly. Pretty tough. So we got 5 minutes before Phil Talk is doing his Timothy Schroeder interview.
What could you link it? I don't know if I know that or not.
I linked it once already, and I'll link it again.
Well, you expect me to scroll up the chat? That's ridiculous.
I know. I wouldn't do it either. I'd bitch too. So don't worry. I'm with you on that, Jorge. I'm going to link it again. Okay.
Yay.
There it is. And people, please do not subscribe to Danny's channel because I don't think he's ever given me any links. I'm not sure, but if he does, then subscribe to him.
Wait,
even has his own icon.
Wait, Phil Talk is Danny's channel?
Yes. Yeah.
Why the hell did never mind.
Yep.
Oh, Philosophy Talk. Never mind.
Philosyphilis talk. Philosyphilis. That's another name for philosophy.
Speed, why do you hate philosophy so much?
I love philosophy.
I
I just
really
think
don't
most philosophers are little weenies.
Yeah,
And they couldn't think their way out of a fucking paper bag.
It's funny.
I mean, I'd agree with you that Danny's a weenie. I wouldn't say all philosophers.
I think that's just the best word to describe Danny, a weenie.
I didn't know I was in the Sandlot right now.
What's that?
I didn't know I was in the Sandlot right now.
Oh.
Killing the Smalls.
Yep. Okay, guys. So we've done. I think we've done what we can. So Topdawg, go do some work, get some links, and let's do this thing tomorrow morning. And I'll do some work on it this afternoon. Okay, because I think there's a whole lot in, particularly when Argatha starts talking, and then Danny chimes in. There's a whole lot of interesting places.
A whole lot of meat to unpack.
Illuminate the misunderstanding of evolution, and I don't know, and I don't think we do that enough. So because that is going to be how we help untangle this fucking problem we got here in the country.
Yeah.
So end the broadcast, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, okay. Okay,
Stay
guys.
curious.
Anybody got anything? Okay. That's it.
4 o'clock CST on Aaron Ross channel. It's going to be a phenomenal discussion.
We got a busy evening.
John Carroll on the beginning of the universe and the existence of the soul.
We are either doing paper trails tonight, Scott. Are you up for that?
I thought you had something set up for more scientism.
We also have a scientism review at possibly 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, just work me around there somewhere. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, we either got to
frozen.
What's that?
Topdawg looks frozen.
Oh, he is frozen. Oh, he's
Yeah, it's just a picture.
a frozen dog. Frozen dog. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably do the scientism thing tonight if Immutable shows up.
Okay.
The Izot thing, basically, which is kind of
Izot
interesting.
distinction.
And we could probably do paper trails tomorrow at least. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, just
do it tomorrow at like 5.
Well, I don't have a weather report tomorrow, so we could do it at any time. So
5 would be a good time, though.
5 be
Maybe
a good time.
4. Maybe even 3. It depends if you're doing Snata tomorrow or not as well.
We are doing Snata, so
okay. But I would shoot for like 3. Gives you a solid 6 hours between them.
Okay, good enough. We'll do that. So let's go over and see what Danny does with this Dr. Timothy Schroeder.
It should be interesting. His last one with that other guy, I can't remember his name, was pretty good.
It's going live.
Okay, ending the broadcast. Goodbye, cruel world.
Bye.